set, yeah. Gotta represent, chase a chick, never chase a bitch. Fuck it, mask up, Percocet, Miley Percocet. Chase a chick, never chase a bitch. Chase no bitch. 2 cups, toast her with the game. From food stamps to a whole nother domain. Out the bottom, I'm a living proof, so ain't compromised.
I never ever, I never ran from anything because I didn't have nobody to go to. I've always had that, where I'm going. Home to get me? Ain't nobody there.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, so I've always been in a situation where I'm forced to deal with it myself. So I never.
What is up, everybody? This is Lucky Loco with the Lucky Loco Show. Today's episode, I'm going to be talking about my childhood, my past. This one's going to be called Surviving the People That Survived the Boarding School. So, for anybody that doesn't know that the boarding schools are what they've done to Native Americans, the abuse they went through, and everything that they have endured, from abuse to abuse to just all this other crazy stuff, man. It's a horrible situation. You think somebody who's been victimized wouldn't victimize somebody they love, they care about, but unfortunately it has. That abuse was turned around on me, and I'm gonna get into that. I'm gonna talk about, I don't really remember too much of my first words, my first time crawling, our first time walking, but I do remember the first time being abused out of nowhere, like, just getting slapped in the face, punched around, and, being told, what an ugly piece of shit I am. And the reason I get all this is because I look like my dad. And it's and it starts there. Okay, so when your parent turns on you and you honestly don't have anywhere else to go, you don't have any other place to feel safe at. I mean, it was never happy. I never had birthdays, never had Christmas, never had, never had really a upbringing. So when I bring up to this, I am talking about surviving a household where, so with the single mother, with me, my mother raising me, she, she started meeting other men or whatever, and they'd become a part of our lives or whatever, and the abuse that came, and I guess he was in the boarding school as well, so he would also turn on me, and then he would, like, being 4 or 5 years old, I just remember getting like mollywopped, like I was a grown man, you know what I mean? I get knocked out, I get beat up, I just get the brute end of it. So I'm in a household with these two people that, they're getting a kick out of this, and I think it's pretty crazy. And it goes on for a while. It's off and on, and so I'm not going to talk like it happened all the time. Like it was like little cover-ups or whatever. To where I wouldn't even go to school because black guy, just welted up face or back. It was wasn't a childhood at all, I would say. But I'll get into that too. So these two, it was mostly like after a while, my little brother was born, and it kind of stopped. And so my little brother comes home. They have a baby. But my brother's father would make it loud and clear. Would be like, "Hey, look, I love him. I fucking hate you. You're not my kid. Wouldn't want you to be my kid." And I'm getting the same kind of like lecture from my own mother too. Just like the whole like and the reason why I put on this this natural born killer thing in the background is because I remember watching this in the movie theater, and when the woman screams, "I hate you, you little fucking asshole," sounded just like my mom. It was like the hairs on my back of my neck stood up, like, because I was watching it in the movie theater and ain't home. I was just like, dang, man, the childhood wasn't no childhood. So, it either makes you or breaks you, or you got to deal with the trauma. I think that's why I drank so much. I acted out so much. I was burying an embarrassment. Like, I used to trip out, growing up. I'd go over to people's houses and I'd see a mom and a dad, a loving, caring mom and dad, and I wouldn't get shit, didn't get shit. And my friend, I remember him coming over, and I was about maybe like 5 or 6 at the time, and I remember having the pillow stuck to my head because there was so much blood from the side of coming from my nose that I just fell asleep. Like, it was and he tripped out and he seen what happened. And I believe that he went and told his mom, and they called CPS. So we all get taken away. But, surviving through all this trauma, through all this physical abuse, you know what I mean? It definitely weighs heavy on the heart, and you either act out, and which I did, as a kid. I believe this is the type of kids that, gang members go after. You know what I mean? They see somebody that's hurt, that doesn't have nothing, that feels that they don't have anything to lose. So, acted out in violence, robberies, shaking down, drug dealers and all this stuff. And this is, I'm at a young age doing all this adult stuff because, breaking into houses, the whole thing was just traumatic. So, when you see me with my kids, loving and caring about them, giving them a childhood that I've never had, is a blessing. But let me get into the my CPS coming in. So I remember my grandmother coming over, and I was like upset about something, and she seen that I wasn't that I was purposely like holding my breath, and she was like, "Hey, stop that." And she's like, "You're gonna really hurt yourself if you do that." And she's like, "Stop it." And then, like any kid that has a temper tantrum or a breakdown, some hold their breath. And I remember she was upset. She's like, "What's going on? Why you keep doing that?" And she's like, "You're gonna hurt yourself and you're gonna end up dying." And that, being 5 years old and trying to hold your breath to basically die, that was like the only, if I knew any other form of like suicide, I think I would have done it. But to me, being 5 years old and having that type of wanting to escape really got my grandmother upset. So when CPS came and took us, my grandmother got me. And she's the one who wouldn't let me go back to the house. And, even after all the abuse, all the mental abuse, and, it was there was a lot of mental abuse that just that really stuck with me. Physical abuse, like with the stepdad just kicking the shit out of me for no reason, and it was crazy to have somebody, just go so hard on you and want to kick the shit out of you, and just all this whole, like, they went through the boarding schools, so for some reason they felt it was okay to do that to other people, and it was crazy. So I'm trying to bring light of what what, I don't know if other natives went through this or other people that went through abuse like that, to where, maybe they didn't have to go to a boarding school. Maybe they had a shitty childhood, or, it's, I feel so much anger and animosity towards these people that are supposed to be protectors and nurturers, and this is a really big part of my story of my life. If you ever see me happy or smiling, I'm not faking it. This is me not masking up the trauma. It's me really living my life. So if you see me smiling, people always like, man, you're always smiling, you're always laughing. And it took a lot to get to where I'm at, because I was embarrassed. I was really, really embarrassed. And when I was in prison, I was talking with me and this other native guy were talking about boarding schools, and I brought up told the story that I'm telling you guys, and it's he was, hey, look, I see you're hurt, and he's like, I know you're hurt. He goes, let me tell you something. He goes, you may not see it right now, but what your mom did was teach you how not to treat a kid. So when you get out and you get custody, and it was crazy because I did get custody of my son when I got out. When you get out, you don't treat your kids that way. You don't, and I never have, and I never will, but it never even crosses my mind to even make them feel less than or not worthy. And it's a safe place where they're going to be loved and cared. And the reason why I did this is because I see the comments that people leave, and it doesn't hurt. Like, it doesn't bother me, because everything that I heard already. And this is coming from a person that's supposed to love me, care about me, and protect. And so when I hear somebody else say it, it's really nothing. So when I hear people talk shit or whatever, and the reason why anybody's ever known me from the past, anytime I go into a dark place when I get violent. I really do. When you force my hand to where I gotta protect myself, or I feel that you've done me dirty, or to where I just need to be violent. It's a scary place for me, because all I see is red and I don't remember anything. And I even got time added on to my sentence in prison, 2 years added to my sentence because of a fist fight. And they really honestly thought a weapon was involved. And it was pretty brutal. It was pretty, there's blood all over the cell. There's blood all over the, and it wasn't just prison. It was just like any fist fight I got into. It was really, really bad for the other person. It just like every single time was I seen red, and I don't remember nothing after that. And I'll look down and even shock myself, like, holy shit, I really, I really went all in on this person. And but yeah, surviving the people that survived boarding schools is what this episode's called. Um, my whole life as a kid, as in the thing you can see where like I'm smiling, but if you ever look in the family photo albums, there's like on my mother's, there's no pictures of me hanging on the wall. There's no pictures in the photo albums. Even on Facebook, there's no pictures of us together. There's no pictures of anything, because I believe till this day she still hates me, and she's still still I don't know. I named a restaurant after her. I thought I would get some kind of praise, some kind of, Andrea and Barb's Native American cuisine. I didn't even get a like or share of anything for my business. So even at this age and even at this time, you still try to get your mother's love and respect when they totally despise you, they hate you. I have no clue what happened, or what type of stuff I did. You know what I mean? To have somebody hate you that much. But yeah, that's, like I said, even still to this day, like even when I was gunned down and I was calling from the hospital, it was a collect call, and she, instead of oh hey, I hope everything's fine, she got on, I was talking with my little brother, and she got on the phone and was like, hey, is this a collect call? And I was like, yeah. And she's like, oh, well, I'm just gonna go ahead and hang this up because I don't have money for this phone call. And I was just, I was in ICU. I flatlined quite. If you see the other videos, I flatlined quite a few times. There was like little next to no hope of me even living, and to be hung up on while in the hospital, even. You know what I mean? It's crazy. So with this one, I just wanted to kind of bring light to what surviving the people that survived the boarding schools. I don't know if anybody else that went through it, but I know there's a lot of child abuse. I know there's a lot of shitty parents out there, man. And some people don't deserve to be parents. And when you're looked upon as a nuisance or a piece of shit, even as a toddler, as a baby, and only looked at as a source of income, a little bit of welfare money. You know what I mean? That's how I felt until CPS came and got me, and I went to my grandmother's. And my grandmother raised me on up. That's the reason why she showed me what a good person is, and showed me nothing but love, and still does. She's getting up there in age, and she's a really big part of my life. She went through everything, and she's seen what I went through, and she is like an angel to me. So this is my perspective of surviving people who survived the boarding schools. It's a messed up story, man, but I felt I needed to tell it. And because this is all about Native American, voices, and I feel there's a lot more people like me that went through. Like I know I had friends that had parents that were very unfit. I don't think they went through what I went through, but it's definitely a topic that nobody's really talking about. Well, I appreciate you guys, man. I'm going to tap out. You guys have a great day and Merry Christmas, and you guys take care. Remember, hit that like and subscribe.